Hey everyone, this is Sarah with SewingPartsOnline.com and welcome to another episode of our Sewing Minis. In this series, we give you fast, straight to the point videos teaching fast projects, tips, and tricks to fit more sewing into your week. This week, we're going to learn how to cut and sew faux fur. So first we need to determine the nap. This is very easy to find. Just pet your fabric and you'll find it right away. You can definitely see a difference in the fabric and feel the resistance when you brush against the nap. When sewing with fur, you want to pick a pattern that's simple because the fur is really the focus of your piece. You need to do all of your marking on the back of the fabric. I like to make an arrow in the nap direction just as a reminder when I'm working on the back. You can see this fur has a pretty thick pile, so we could have a huge mess if we don't cut this properly. There are two methods that I want to show you. So first, let's draw a circle so I can really show you how this technique works. It's very simple. Grab your rotary cutter and start to slowly kind of slice at the backing, just the backing. Cutting fur takes a fair bit of time, but it's definitely worth it. Take the extra time and you come out with a better project. I just kind of lightly tug on the opposite piece of fabric while I'm using the blade to kind of chisel away at the backing. And see, I have no mess and the fur falls naturally. You don't get that weird edge that kind of resembles like a bowl cut. You don't want that. You want it to look like natural fur. Now you can also use scissors, but again, it's crucial to try to only cut through the backing. I have to pull it apart to try to move as much of the fur out of the way as possible. Really, it's just easier to work from the back. Just know with this method, you'll get a tiny bit of shred, but if done carefully, it's really minimal and it doesn't really matter. Because the fur is so thick, I like to use Wonder Clips. They do a great job of securing the long fur in place, preventing any loose fibers from poking out of the seam. And don't be gentle, you really want to shove that fur in there to get a nice clean edge. And the Wonder Clips are so strong, I don't have to worry about anything coming loose. Now grab a needle and thread because the trick to a perfect fur seam is hand basting first. Try to hand baste by coming up straight from under and inserting straight back through rather than doing a traditional running stitch. This prevents shifting. I also try to do like a zigzag ladder stitch combination as much as I can so that the fur is really held in place once I remove the Wonder Clips to sew. Now you see how everything is nicely basted in place? It is going to be so easy to stitch on the sewing machine. Now you can sew on your machine with Wonder Clips attached, but I don't want to obstruct the view. I will be sewing a 1/4 inch seam with a walking foot. Now a walking foot isn't just for fur. There are 1,001 uses for this awesome foot, so if you don't have one, I really recommend getting one. I've inserted a 90-14 universal needle as I want to base my needle size off of the backing fabric. I've increased my stitch length to 3.5 and reduced my tension a couple of clicks. You can use a straight stitch or a zigzag stitch. I've heard people have success with both. You can use a general all-purpose polyester thread. I'm using Gutermann. And that's all there is to it. Remember to use simple patterns with simple lines and you'll love the results. So I hope this video helps you fit more sewing into your week. If you have any comments or questions, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. If you just want to come and hang out with our little sewing community, be sure to visit us online at SewingPartsOnline.com, on Facebook at Facebook.com/SewingPartsOnline, Twitter at SewingParts, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, we're everywhere, and be sure to subscribe by hitting that button below for next week's sewing video.